This episode of Unscripted Turbulence is sponsored by Dude Wow Cocktails. Bold flavor, no extra ingredients. Pilot, as we call my husband, Pilot woke up at like 3:30 this morning to fly an airplane, which is all well and good. But I typically, so we have separate bedrooms, you know, so I'll sleep in the separate bedroom as he's getting ready. And I thought he was supposed to wake up at 4:15. So like in my mind, I'm like, all right, then I know like 4:15, I'm going to start hearing some noises. No, I think he woke up even earlier, which then completely destroyed the rest of my sleep in the morning.
Of course. How could you? I couldn't go back to sleep after that.
No, because now I'm like, and then, you know, like a year ago, I was waking up at 1:30 in the morning. So my 1:30 self from a year ago is probably telling me to shut the F up because at least I got to sleep past the 1:30 mark.
It's more than that, at least. Couple more hours.
I know. Good Lord. All right. Okay, so shall we start with this? Shall we get this moving? Okay, sounds good. Okay. Well, welcome to Unscripted Turbulence. I'm your host, Raegan Medgie. You should know that by now. If you don't, hi. So today we are going to be expanding our horizons and our knowledge for the year ahead. I have a very special guest. As I say, all of my guests are very special, but this one in particular has kind of helped me map out my life a little bit. Her name is Sutton Crawford. Hello, Sutton.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I am thrilled. So now, just so everybody is aware, we are taping this in December. This will be the first pod of the new year, I believe on January 7th, right?
Yeah, woo!
So the reason I got Sutton on here with me, I will let her explain more who she is, but I met her, I want to say before pandemic, so 2018 maybe?
Sure, 2019?
2019, something like that.
Yeah.
And I got to know her because she does tarot readings. Tarot card pulls. Tarot? Just tarot? Is that how-
Tarot readings.
So, you know, I thought, okay, that's cool. I'm into all things. So I thought, yeah. So we met up and she does this pool for me and kind of forecasts the next, I think it was like 3 months to 6 months or something. And she was real spot on. And then there were two other times. The second time was when I was at Fox 5 here in New York City, working as a reporter, meteorologist, anchor, and I needed some guidance because I wasn't in alignment with it anymore. So I reached out to her again, and she did a 6-month pool at that point, and damn, and at that time, I was already talking to ABC 7 Eyewitness News, and she called it. She was like, "They are going to love you." They loved me. They needed me very much for as a meteorologist and then reporter. And then, as the story goes, we get to another point where I'm like, I just need some guidance and clarity because I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing in the next. I did a forecast for a year ahead. So this was December of 2024. And I was already starting to feel my gut saying like, we don't know that ABC 7 was what you thought it was going to be in terms of retiring from it. Maybe you should, I don't know, talk to Sutton again. So I said, okay, gut, talk to Sutton. And she did a year pool. Holy shit. I still have it in one of my journals. I have the year by, or the month, it goes month by month. Yes. So she'll pull month by month by month. And she, my God, she said to me, and I want to let you know this, son, that in April of 2025, there was an anniversary coming up. And I was like, yeah, that's when Pilot and I met, April 22nd, 2006. And you're like, no, it's going to be something different. Like there's going to be something different. Mm-hmm. I left ABC 7 on April 1st.
Happy Fool's Day.
Yeah. I mean, you can't make any of this up. And then she gave a humongous like forecast of August, and she's like, this was going to be the star. I think you said there was something big, like a job or something. It was going to be something enormous. So of course my mother-in-law, God bless her, was like, you're going to have a baby. And I'm like, I don't, doing the timing, I'm like, if I birth thy child, that would be like, that. I don't think that's going to happen.
Timing.
The timing a little bit off there. But I said, I don't know. And then I thought, it's not that. And I launched my podcast August 1st.
Which is a bit of a birth, actually. So there you go.
So I can tell my mother-in-law, see, I got a child.
I
It's
have a
called
baby.
podcast.
Yeah, exactly. It's this.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so that's a little like dip your toe into the wide ocean of Sutton. Now, and I'm not saying Sutton's wide, but you know what I'm saying. Whatever. She's deep like the ocean. But there is a little special thing that we have for the listeners and watchers, because she's going to do a pool for us.
That's right.
For 2026. I won't go any further. But now, let's talk a little bit about who Sutton is. So Sutton, what is your title? Because I don't want to mess this up.
Oh, no. I'm a professional tarot card reader and witch. That's my title.
Okay. So when people say witch, they probably think the tall, black pointy hat and a broom.
Sure. Yes. And my broom is behind me for anybody who can see the
that.
images.
So I'm kind of half right with that.
They still exist. And my hats are in my closet. But yeah, no, there's a very clear picture of what people see as a witch. And often, you know, they've got their crooked crone back and they've got their wart on their nose and all of these things. But witch really boils down to wise woman. And, you know, throughout history, it is about healing. It is about herbal medicine. It is about connecting with nature. It is about listening to your intuition. And it is about being someone on the fringes of society who attempts to kind of bring everybody together. And so, yeah, I came out of the broom closet, as we like to say, 6 years ago officially. And I forget that it's this kind of controversial. I don't forget it's controversial because many people have suffered because of being called a witch. But, you know, it just doesn't occur to me to be a weird thing to call myself a witch. It just doesn't occur to me that that's a bizarre thing. And people sometimes gasp at me. And I'm like, no, I'm proud. I'm proud to be a witch.
Yeah. So I'm very interested to learn like how you kind of got there. But with every pod, I like to kind of go from all the way to the beginning.
Oh man.
Because
I love the beginning.
Yeah. So you have a very interesting life. And sometimes I'll dip into your Instagram because I'm like, you're on like a reality show, I think. I'm not really.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we're talking about that because I'm like, I don't. Okay. But you know, and then you know the transformation into witchery, because I mean, listen, yes, it's a controversial, sure, but you know, there's an energy about it that I totally love and am into, and I'm super excited about like kind of like tapping in, because I feel like I've got some kind of like sixth sense.
Everybody
kind of magical
does,
powers,
as long as they listen to it. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's a little bit of a witch.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go from the beginning. So where are you from?
I'm from Chicago, Evanston, Illinois, actually. So if you live in Chicago, you would know that I don't actually live in Chicago. I live in Evanston, which is where Northwestern is, the University Northwestern. And I lived there until I moved to New York City to go to school in 2003. I went to the New School, and I studied theater, actually. And that was my goal. My whole goal was to be an actor. I wanted to be a performer. I wanted to be seen, right? And I wanted to tell stories. That was the biggest thing. That's why I was connected to theater, was the idea of telling stories or connecting with people or, you know, changing lives, even if it's just one person, and being able to thread needles of stories. That was really important to me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And so then I did that for a while. And, you know, being a performer and being an actor it's an extremely hard business. It requires a lot of commitment. And I did it for a long time, but I had to have another job, right? I couldn't just support myself through theater. And so I became a stylist assistant for photo shoots. Yes.
Oh, no
Yes.
way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so through most of my college career, I was acting and then I was a stylist assistant. And so that put me on photo shoot sets and on commercial sets. And I mean, full disclosure, I hated it. I hated it so much. I hated everything about it.
What was it that you hated about it? Because now I
Uh,
feel like, is my style okay? Like I
Oh
really,
yes, girl, yes. But we were mostly styling children actually. So I was doing
okay.
Toys R Us photo shoots. And so we were styling
Aw.
children, and I love children. I love kids. I think that they tell the best truths. We learn mostly about ourselves through children. I hated it because it wasn't me. It's not what I wanted. It wasn't who I was. And I did it
But it
for
paid the bills,
it
right?
paid the bills. It made
So,
very fine money. I learned my work ethic through stylist assisting, which I was actually working for my aunt, and she is one of the hardest bosses I've ever worked for. No doubt about it. And it was great because she taught me my work ethic. She taught me about what it meant to show up, and not just show up, but like care about what you are doing, right?
mhm.
But I wanted to care about something that mattered to me. And I would go every day, and bless her, but like I just didn't like it.
Ugh.
And the person that was on set, so there's something called a wrangler, a child wrangler.
Oh,
And
you know what? We have those in the press too.
yes,
We call them media handlers, like the
yes,
handler, the reporter. Oh
yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
I know your kind.
Yes,
I know
of
your kind.
course.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes,
The
yes.
organizers. No, and so there was a child wrangler on set, which on a photo shoot set is different because they're kind of they translate the message from the photographer, the creative, and everybody else to a child, right? So everything the kid has to do gets fed through the wrangler, and the wrangler tells the kid what to do.
Wow.
And, yes. And so the wrangler on this set was like, you should be doing what I'm doing. And I was terrified because it's a lot of pressure. You never know what you're going to do. You never know what you're going to get. And you're dealing with children who are, I mean, newborn to, 15 years old. And sometimes they're having a bad day. Sometimes they don't want to be there, all of these things. So I did that. I started doing that. And I became a child wrangler and was a child wrangler for, oh God, I'd say like 15 years.
Wow. So that you found something there.
I did. And I really did.
What?
I really did. And I loved it.
How did you figure this all out? Like that you have to speak a certain way to them? Like you had been watching the Wranglers earlier, so you like kind of knew? Or
Absolutely.
you
Yes. And because I had been on a set before, I knew how the set worked. And,
Oh.
but witchcraft. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, right? It was witchcraft because, and I'll explain why, is because, the through line through all of the careers I've had so far has been storytelling, performing, taking up space, being seen and heard, right? So what I was able to do with wrangling was that everybody, and if you look at my chart, right? Like if you look at my natal chart, everything is in family, money, and my outward appearance, what people perceive me. And how I like to be seen, basically. And so what I loved about wrangling is that people watched me. I got to perform. I was a little bit in charge. And then
Oh.
people would pay me and come up to me and be like, "Oh my God, you're amazing." Right? And so,
Oh my gosh, it's
yeah.
like a little performance every day.
Oh, 100%. And then the anxiety part was that you never knew what you were going to get because
Yeah.
you're with real humans. These are tiny humans that you
And
are.
they can't process things like us adults can, like if they're not having it that day, they're not having
They're
it.
not having it, which
Nope.
is I wish we all had a little bit more of that in our
Right.
lives and had the agency to do that.
Mhm.
Because if they're not comfortable, they're not comfortable. And
Yeah.
my job was making them comfortable, was building kids up, was translating a message from an adult who maybe doesn't have children to a kid and making them laugh. right? Because if you look at every ad, if you look at every Target ad, I've done Target, I've done Huggies, I've done all of these things. It's they're having a good time. So I was just there to have a good time while also being, a taskmaster, because we have to get stuff done and this has to run a certain way and you have to perform. So it was allowing other people to perform, but building them up in this way that felt really good to me. And so I started doing that, and I loved it. I loved it. And I mean, I don't want to sound too egotistical, but like in New York City, people know who I am as a child wrangler because there aren't a lot of us, right? It's very few
Oh.
people, right? So I did that for a really long time, and I loved it. And what I realized was, as long as somebody is watching me, and as long as I get to be big, and as long as somebody is telling me I'm good at it, I'm pretty happy, right? I'm pretty happy doing
Mm-hmm.
that. Uh, COVID hit, right?
Oh.
And yes, of that.
So when I met you, you were a child wrangler?
I was a child wrangler. And yes,
Wow.
haha,
Whoa.
I tricked you. No, and what really had happened is that I had always been into the esoteric. I had always been into the metaphysical. I had always been into the spiritual aspect of witchcraft and magic and all of these things. And I had carried that through my whole life, right? Like I carried
When did you start that? Because I know I started like the crystals, like going to the New Age shop when I was, I want to say probably like in 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah, I was like 8.
Right.
Yeah, I was like
Yeah.
8. And the first object I ever had was a set of runes, which is a divination tool, very similar, not similar, but very much like in the same world as tarot cards. And I carried them around everywhere. And I loved them. I didn't know how to read them. I was only 8 years old, but I knew I was connected to them. And yeah, to go back to the beginning part is, the first time I stepped into a metaphysical store or a witchcraft store, the person who was running it touched my hand and was like, "You have the gift." And I never forgot that. Oh God, I never forgot it. Yeah.
Wow.
So I always had tarot cards and I always had all of these things. It's just that, and you can see my mom sent me this photograph of me when I was probably 10 years old and I'm doing some kind of ritual. Who knows what I was doing? There's candles lit and I've got a scarf on my head and I thought I was amazing. And so forever, right? I've always been doing it. It's always been living inside of me. But then COVID hit and I was like, I want to do this. I want this to be my career. I want this to be the thing that is the primary source of my income. And so I did, and I started doing it. And, I got really, I would say lucky. Like luck is part of magic, right? The
Yeah.
idea of manifesting your reality, I think a portion of that is luck. But I also worked really hard. And very quickly, I got onto a lot of podcasts, and they were mostly podcasts in LA with actors. So I was with comedians and actors and, witchy or paranormal podcasts and all of these things. And it like completely springboarded my tarot business. And that's how most people found me initially. And then it's become very much word of mouth. And I feel I hesitate to say the word blessed, but I do feel extremely blessed. And I do feel extremely grateful that I've been able to do what I love and hopefully kind of help to change people's trajectory or be a more active participant in their own life, right? Like that's what I think tarot cards are really about, is being present and is being an active participant in what is going on with you instead of feeling like unscripted turbulence, right? Instead of feeling like the world, you got to say the name of the podcast, honey. No, instead of feeling like the world is happening to you, right? How can I participate in what is happening to me so that I can mold it, so that I can shape it, so that it can be the most joyful or wonderful experience that I can possibly have, and how can I be a participant in that? And so that's what I try to do with people. I try to help them to be an active participant in their life. Yeah. So then my tarot business took off. I do that full time. And again, I'm extremely grateful. And the thing that I realize is that I'm still just performing, right? I'm still being seen. I'm still doing something that I'm good at, that people tell me I'm good at, and then they give me money for it. And I'm like, what else do I need? That's all I really need. It makes me really happy to do that.
Well, you are good at it. I mean, I am, yes, very, you are very good at it.
Thank you.
Now, at what point did you, like you said, you started hopping on a podcast? Like, how did you look out to these podcasts? Did you like reach out to them, or did they reach out to you? Like, how did that kind of happen?
Yes, they reached out to me, but it was there. I have a friend who, her name is Lauren Lapkus. She's an actor. She's in LA. Go find her stuff. She's hilarious. She's amazing. But we went to high school together. And so when she
Oh,
saw that I was doing this, she put it on her story and she was like, go book a reading with my friend. I gave her one. It was a success. And then,
shocker.
uh, I'm humble.
Just saying.
I know. Well, thank you. But so she talked me up. And then all of the people in her sphere were the people that then invited me onto their podcast. So
Get out.
there's a podcast called A Funny Feeling. I was on something called Bigfoot Collectors Club. There's many I've been on. Would You Date Me with Nicole Byer. And so these were all actors, right? These were all comedians. And it was interesting because I wasn't on metaphysical podcasts, right? I wasn't on witch podcasts. I was
Yeah.
with comedians and talking to comedians about what I do. And so I had this very interesting little in, but I really credit this very wonderful friend of mine, Lauren, for just one day being like, hey, you should book a reading with Sutton. And then it kind of spiraled from there in the best way.
Yeah, isn't that funny how like it's always, you got a network or a village of people. It takes that one person, and you just never know where a conversation can go or an opportunity comes knocking, right?
You
It's like,
really
you just
don't.
never know.
You really don't.
Speaking of opportunity knocking, so growing up Crawford, I gotta ask. Okay, so this was the reality thing I was talking about earlier in this episode.
Yes.
Okay, explain this to me.
So okay, my life, I feel like if you're asked to get on a rocket ship, you don't ask what seat, you just get on, right?
Okay.
And again, this is witchy in the sense that the more opportunities you partake in, the more people you talk to, the bigger your village, the more likely the things that you want to have happen are going to end up happening, right? That you're participating in your own life and you're inviting these opportunities into your life. So my family got approached and we knew a producer. They had produced Into the Music, and they had produced Little People Big World. And they took a look at our family, who was interesting at the time, not so interesting anymore, thank goodness. But, and I mean that to say that my stepfather is trans. She's now my stepmother.
Okay.
And they kind of were like, this is an amazing opportunity to get, again, fringes of the society's voice onto television. We want to follow your family. So it's me, my mom, my brother, and my stepmom, who was previously my stepfather.
And she, at this point, she had already transitioned. And that's what they...
Yes. Well, she was in the midst of her transition. And
Oh, okay.
yes. And they wanted to show it, right? They wanted to show it. And so
Wow, that's ahead of its time almost,
it
right?
was. I mean, this
Whoa.
was, God, I don't even know what year it was. It was over, well, I got married 10 years ago. So this was 11 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
It's wild. And so then, yeah, they pitched it, and there was a bidding war for it, right? It was Bravo, ABC Family, TLC.
ABC Family?
Well, that's where it ended up, which is now Freeform. It was previously ABC Family, and then,
Oh
and then it
my
became
gosh,
Freeform.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's who ended up purchasing the rights to do this television show. And we filmed 10 episodes of it. And it was wild. It was a wild experience. I got married on it. The last episode is 15 minutes of my wedding.
Oh my gosh.
But it really wasn't about me. It was about my brother, and it was about my brother who was I think 13 at the time, you know, experiencing his parent
Uh-huh.
being their true self, right? And my mom's journey and Carly's journey, that's my stepmom, and everybody's kind of journey through, it was called Becoming Us. So it was like, what does this really mean for a family unit to experience something that is out of the norm, even though it's really not. It's just not
Mm-hmm.
seen. It wasn't seen as much on television as it is now.
Right.
And yeah, it was a wild experience.
Wow. I mean, just out of curiosity, I mean, like the reception that you got back then.
Mm. Uh,
Oh.
Very positive.
Mm.
Very positive.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
very
Didn't
positive.
know.
No,
Okay.
and because people who watch ABC Family are loving. It's a very
Yeah.
loving community. Now, were there things that had hiccups? Absolutely. There were, groups of people who, um, I'm not even going to name names, but like,
Yeah.
they're moms, right? Whatever
Mm-hmm.
their name is, that group of moms and
Mm-hmm.
conservative people
Mm-hmm.
who wanted to stop it, who wanted to get it off the air before it had
Oh.
even filmed. And we just persevered. We were just like, we're telling a story and trying to
Yeah.
connect to people and trying to do something good, right? For everybody, because the happier that everyone can be, the happier we will all be, right? So it was
Wow.
wild.
Yeah, I'd
It's
say
not for the
I
faint
wasn't
of heart.
expecting. No, I thought growing up Crawford. I mean, from the pictures I saw, it was just you and your husband. I was like, oh, that's cool. They like focused on them getting married. Like I
No.
had no idea.
Yeah, no, it was
Nope,
not.
nope,
It was
nope.
not. No, I was a bit
Not really.
player. I mean, I'm in every episode, but like,
Yeah.
it's not my story at all. I'm just there and I'm there supporting my brother. I'm there supporting my mom because my mom and Carly had been together for 20 plus years at this point.
Wow. So the high school sweethearts?
No, God, no. No. My mother, my sweet, lovely, amazing mother was married 3 times. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so they had been together for a while at this point. I think it was
Wow.
about 20 years. Yeah. And so they'd, we'd spent our whole lives with Carly. Yeah. And
That's wild.
it was wild. It was wild.
So do you think that makes that experience kind of, I mean, that's part of the fabric of your, of who you are. So I would assume that that kind of helped shape you and mold you as the witchy woman you are, in a way of kind of like really understanding energies of people. I mean, you,
Absolutely.
in that environment, it's not easy right away, probably, where it's like, okay, and then kind of really understanding everybody's impact. It's like a ripple effect of who's,
Yeah.
right?
Well, for me, frankly, when my mom sat me down and was like, it was before the show had been picked up, but they had pitched it and I didn't know. And she sat down and she was like, I need to tell you something. I was like, is anybody sick? Is something wrong? Like,
yeah,
what's
right,
going
right.
on?
Yeah.
And she was like, this is what's happening. And I literally clutched my pearls and went, oh, thank God. Because I just knew that Carly was unhappy. I knew that there was something not gelling with her personality,
Yeah.
their personality. And so when I knew that they were trans, I was like, oh, thank God. Like
Right.
now it makes sense. That, of course, you can't be happy and not your own skin. And so I was like, oh, wonderful. Yay. Everybody
Right.
gets to be their authentic self. This is fantastic. It was definitely harder for my brother because that was my brother's dad, right? So
Right.
it wasn't my dad. So I had a different experience with it than everybody
Yeah,
else did.
and to piggyback off of what you're saying about the relief, I have a friend who you say come out as trans or is
They
trans.
are trans, yeah.
So at the time, she, like you, she sat me down, and she had some incisions on her head, and I thought that she was sick. And she's like, I got to tell you something. And I said, okay. And I'm thinking, oh no. Cause I saw the incision. I'm thinking, you go the worst area. Like I'm thinking, is it brain cancer?
Sure.
Is it, I don't know. She goes, I'm trans. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Hooray!
Oh my God.
I know.
was like,
I know.
I thought you were going to tell me something totally not that. And then I started crying because I was all touched that like she decided to tell me as one of the first people in
Of
her
course.
orbit. So it was like this really beautiful moment, but there was like this relief of like, oh, and then you start kind of looking back, you're like, oh, okay.
Of
Yeah, this is
course.
good. This
This
is
is who
good.
this person is.
Yeah.
And isn't it sad? The slight comment of this is that like, isn't it sad that that it's such a fearful thing
Yeah.
sometimes that we
Yeah.
assume that something's wrong. I just wish that
Oh,
we lived in a society where it was like, hooray! I'm
yay,
so
what's
proud
happening?
of you. Like instantly like, yay! Instead of it being like, oh no, what's wrong? Because
I
there's
know.
fear surrounding that sometimes. And so it's
Oh,
very
it's always
interesting.
yeah. Yeah, no, oh, and I think for me also, I think, that's just kind of it's geared up a little bit more for me because of in the news. You always think you're in trouble. Like the news
Of
director
course.
calls or a producer is like, "Hey, can you give me a call?" And you're like, "Oh, what did I do wrong?"
Oh, I'm obsessed with fault. My whole life, I'm like, whose fault is it? Is it my fault? If it's my
Right?
fault, I can fix it. Yes, no,
Yeah.
it's a very interesting thing.
Yeah, it's so also before we get to our main event here, what I think is really sweet is the love story with you and your husband. Can you share that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my husband and I still, I mean, he is an amazing actor and performer and music director and piano player and just an incredible human being. But we met 15 years ago in a show playing Romeo and Juliet. That's how we met. And I just, I felt like instantly in love with him. Spoiler alert, I was with somebody else.
Oh, uh-oh,
Yes.
here's the turbulence.
I know the turbulence came in. I know. But again, to go back to this idea of like manifesting your reality, there are times where you're going to have to take a risk. You're going to have to go for something. You have to invite things into your life that are better for you. And, whether it be changing careers or whether it be love or whatever it is, it's like, don't ask what seat on the rocket ship, just get on. And so when I met him, I instantly knew that I loved this person, and we played Romeo and Juliet, and that's how we met. I was
I,
Juliet and he was Romeo. So
oh, well,
yeah.
I mean,
I
I
don't know.
kind of
Sometimes
figured that.
people ask, they're like, "Is that who you were playing?" And I was like, "Yes." We weren't,
Yeah, was there,
Mercutio and the nurse or anything like that.
Okay, so now you currently live where?
I live in New Hampshire, actually. So I lived in New York City for 22 years. And
Okay.
then I moved to New Hampshire, the Vermont-New Hampshire border.
Okay. And so what I think is very apropos for this remote interview
Yes.
is because this is how you typically do what your business is, which is the pulling the tarot and the readings, right?
Yes. So because of the initial kind of jumpstart of my career, which was with people in Los Angeles and
Mhm.
actors and performers, a lot of my sessions are via Zoom. And because of COVID, right, it was just easier to do things
Yeah.
on Zoom. And having moved up here, though, things have transformed for me. And because I was doing them in person in New York City, obviously, I was doing a lot of events. Like I have read tarot cards multiple times at the Met Opera for their opening night parties of Carmen, which is such a delight. Or like events at stores or restaurants and things like that. And then it was nice because I moved up here and I still had a consistent client base and I was still getting new clients via Zoom. But then moving here, I was able to have in person, and like in person's the best. And I've started
Yeah.
to be at certain venues and do things in person here. So now I've collected a large group of people who are in person as well. So that's very nice.
And it does the energy, when you suggested doing like an over the phone, well, it was a Zoom when we did our pools and stuff. I
Yeah.
always wondered like how you can still get that energy when you're not within the same space as the person.
Girl, I don't know. I honestly don't have any idea how it works. And I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't need to know. That's kind of the amazing thing about magic. But is having someone in front of you have a palpable energy, yes, right? Because there's a buzz that happens between two people when they're sitting across from each other. But I have not found that the technology stands in the way at all through readings. It just is different, right? And frankly, this is an interesting take on this, but like I think people feel a little less nervous when they're on Zoom, right? Because it
Oh,
is
yeah.
right because there's a
Yeah.
distance that we can have that makes you feel a little bit more safe. You're in your own space, you've got your own
Yep.
coffee, you've got all of the things that
Hmm.
keep you comfy, and you don't have to travel to come and do it. And so they're both equally amazing. I have not found any kind of um I don't know what would the word be, discrepancy between the two. They both work. How? Magic. The way that tarot cards work, I believe, is it's divine, right? It's whatever you believe divinity to be, whether you call it God, whether you call it goddess, whether you call it the universe. So many people are like the universe, and you're like, yes, I tend to call it source. Um,
Oh,
right? I like to call her source. Uh, but it's a divine message that then gets translated into cards. And so you don't have to be next to me to do it. It's nice. And it's nice, but you don't have to be. And there's different readers do different things, right? Like I don't generally let people shuffle my cards, but historically, many tarot card readers will ask that you shuffle the cards to put
hmm.
your energy into the cards. I've never found that necessary.
Okay.
It's not necessary for me to be able to do what I do, to have you touch them or even be in the same space as me, which I again feel very lucky about, because it's it's nice for everybody to be able to come from wherever they are to do it. And I have international clients. I have people all over. So,
This is
yay.
fabulous.
It is fabulous.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, with that whole space thing, I totally get that because I've got my little podcast nook and I feel so, this is my little aura and area. And when I'm in person, I have a studio I go to, but
Sure.
for your little reading thing, what I have a couple of things. And this is now we're about to do a reading. Sutton is going to explain this reading because we were going back and forth on how we want to do this because I want to provide some kind of enlightenment for the year ahead in this specific episode. That was my goal going into this. I wanted to have a really good, strong episode to kick off 2026. So to set the stage,
Yes.
I have my jar of crystals. If you are not watching and listening.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
you
so I
really
got a
do.
lot. All right, I got a lot going on here. I'm now spinning it for Sutton to see, and she's laughing at me.
I'm seeing
because
some malachite in there. I'm seeing some copper. I'm seeing some selenite. I'm seeing, oh yes, some quartz.
Look at her go.
Naturally, some quartz. Maybe some pyrite.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so now we're gonna have the good juju, and one of my mom's good friends, we call her Mystical Maria. She's an Italian, and she also is a witch.
Yes.
Now, her husband does not like when she does the pools, but when we were younger, like in high school, we would have like Mystical Maria Saturdays, and a bunch of my friends, I'm not kidding, we would come over, and you know what she said to me? And I don't know how true this is, but she says to me when she was pulling one of the last pulls, she's still around, but we just haven't gotten together. She was like, "You're going to be a household name."
I love it.
Right?
Yes.
Now, I don't know if I'm really a household name, but depending upon what house you live in, maybe I am.
You are in my house.
Well, yes. So the other thing I have, and I'm going to lean off of this screen right now to grab it because Mystical Maria told me that when you do the tarot reading and the pools and stuff,
Yes.
one must always have this.
Show me.
A white candle burning. Because she said...
Okay, it's not burning, but there's my white candle right there.
Okay, so she says that this is supposed to... I know it says April shower, so we're gonna turn that around. But so the white candle, I guess, is for purity and to ward off evil spirits, to make sure that evil doesn't come in to a reading or whatever you're going to be doing mystically.
Yes.
So
I love it. I'm like, can I reach my lighter? Because I was gonna light my white candle, but I'd have to get up to get my. One of the things that to get my lighter to light my candle. One of the things that I tend to use in the same vein, right? And
Uh,
protection magic is a very big part of my practice, right?
oh, okay.
Is protection magic of making
Uh-huh.
sure that there is some sort of yeah, protection. And it's
Right.
protection from other people's energies, it's protection from external energies, right? Like
Yes.
to building this kind of like bubble around yourself so that, especially if you're an empath, you have a little bit of a protection around you.
Okay.
But one of the biggest things is I use is that I do use what's called Florida water. Now this is an old thing. It has very controversial background, and you should learn about it before you start using it.
Oh,
But yes,
is it
it's.
from Florida?
d- I mean, no, it's it's Florida water cologne, but it's a cleanser, right? And you can take this and you can put it in. Some people rub their doors down, some people rub their windows down with this, some people cleanse their
Okay.
crystals with it. It is very I wouldn't call it acidic, but it does have. You want to be careful about like what surfaces you're putting it on because it can strip certain things. But then I tend to mix that
Oh.
with moon water that I have
Oh.
collected. And so anytime I do a reading, I spray that on my hands, I put it on the back of my neck, and then I'm putting it on my third eye. And that's my kind of white candle moment.
Okay, so the Florida water, when you say be careful with it, is it because it's strong? Is
Yes,
that
it's
why?
strong.
Okay.
Yes, it has a very distinct smell. It also has an energy, right? Like everything that we use
Mm-hmm.
in magic has roots in something else, right? And so, like, when you're using, I mean, that's why a lot of practitioners have gone against white sage, right? That is an indigenous plant that has been used by indigenous people. And it's kind of a bummer that now that white sage you can just like buy at like Party City. You can buy it
Yeah.
on Amazon. We're not buying that stuff on Amazon, right? If you're even using it at all, right?
Uh-huh.
Because it's an
Ice
indigenous
sage.
practice. Yeah, it's an indigenous practice that we have like taken, right? And we're just like, oh, we can do that. And it's like, no, this is a ritual to remember that like saging is a ritual. So when you're buying your white sage, you should be buying it from an indigenous, sustainable resource. Like that's where you're going to buy your white sage, right? You're not just buying it from
Oh.
anybody. And we're also over farming it. We're also, there's a lot of, there's a lot of practices that like, especially as like a white practitioner, that I have to be very aware of. What is the roots of this? Where did it come from? Who used it first? Why was it
Ooh.
used? Right? So Florida water does have um it has an interesting background. It was connected to voodoo and hoodoo priestesses. And so you have to be aware of what you're using. Even crystals. I mean, they're a finite resource. And so when you're purchasing crystals, you want to make sure that you're trying and attempting to find it from somebody who is getting these things sustainably, which is not
Mm-hmm.
even possible because again, it's a finite resource, but that is it's that it's a good practice of how they're sourcing their crystals, right?
Yeah,
This
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
coming from mines where people are, not
Mm.
being paid and being tortured,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's a you know
I
you
always
got to be
try to,
careful.
yeah, I always, I try to get those items from a place where I know it matters and it means something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to just, like you said, the Amazon white sage. No, my white sage is not from Amazon. It's from some kind of shop somewhere that had some
Yes.
kind of mystical powers around it. I don't know. And a
Yes.
lot of my crystals are actually from, I think it was called like the Crystal House or something up near the Poconos. I did a story at Fox 5 about it, and I I went
I
in.
love that.
It was a whole thing. Anyway,
I
so
love that.
now you said voodoo and hoodoo. What's hoodoo?
Yes. I
What's
mean, it's all connected, but it's the black experience of it came from, you know,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so they passed that down through generations, and then through the period of time of enslavement is when they passed those traditions down, and they were priestesses, and that's where you like when you visit New Orleans,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
that's where you're gonna find that most of that, right, at
Mm.
traditional stuff. And so it's about being aware. It's about being aware that like I'm participating in a practice that is way older than me,
Hmm.
that probably didn't start with white people, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so like being extremely and attempting to be extremely aware of that, especially because as a witch, I participate in a group of people who are on the fringe of society, who were not collectively loved or sought out or and persecuted. So I have to be really aware of where this stuff comes from, what I'm actually doing, what I'm using, what the tools are, and who were the who the foundation who that was, right? Like where the
Right.
foundation of this stuff actually comes from, or else your practice is kind of, I don't know.
Empty,
Yeah, maybe a little
you
bit.
know, just a
You
tiny
just
bit.
gotta educate yourself on all of this stuff, right?
Well, you
So
practice very responsibly, and you're really in touch with the ancestral part of it. So
I
that's
try.
I really like that. I could feel that too. Okay, so you're going to be doing a card pull. Now explain what you're doing and the
Okay.
pull, like what the thing is.
Okay. So just a little background on the
Uh-huh.
tarot.
Ooh, go on.
I mean it's 500 plus years old, the tarot. And it's gone through some iterations, right? It's changed. The imagery is always kind of different in different decks that you purchase. By the way, also big deal. A lot of times people are told that you have to be gifted your first tarot deck. Enough of this gatekeeping, everybody. Everybody should be participating in magic. Like, stop this nonsense. There's all these rules that I'm like, throw all of that out the window, right? Purchase your own tarot deck. Come on, let's do this, right? So the deck is ancient. It's old. And what I believe it to be is that they're 78 cards, right? They're broken into two categories. They're major arcana and minor arcana cards. There's also court cards, which are generally an aspect of your personality or somebody else's personality, but they have an energy. So it's like an archetype, it's like a character. And the 78 cards, I believe, is encoded wisdom, right? I believe that it's an ancient form of looking at the human condition that has been put into just these 78 images or cards to allow you again to get a little insight into how you participate in your life and what are the energies surrounding this, and are you overthinking this, are you coming from your heart, are you being inspired by it, what, right? Like all of those things I believe are encoded into this divination tool, right? And so the tarot is old. it has lived a long time. It has survived a really long time. So what I generally do is that when I sit down with somebody, I will just say, is there anything in particular that you want to talk about, right?
Mhm.
And if they don't, sometimes they'll say, I don't know. And I say, okay, great. That's fine too. But like you can come into a tarot card reading and say, I want to talk about this, right? I want to talk about my career. I want to talk about love. I want to talk about, ooh, goodness gracious, are those done already? Yeah. That's wild. What I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna draw a card for every season. So we're gonna do winter, spring, summer, fall. And it's just gonna
Okay.
give us the energies of those 4 seasons.
Mhm.
Um, oh my gosh, that was fast. I'm a little anxious about it now. What was that? Who knows what's gonna happen? But
Oh, okay. What
I
just
know I'm
happened?
excited.
What did just happen?
So basically, I shuffle, right?
Uh-huh.
Obviously, I'm going to shuffle, and I shuffle until, and some people are going to listen to this and they're going to be like, that witch is crazy, but do I care? No, I do not. I shuffle until they tell me they're done, right? The cards are like, stop shuffling now. That's it,
Okay.
right? And this is something that you get better at hearing it the more you work with your cards, right? But
Oh,
like,
wow.
yes, it's like an intuitive feeling that I'm done shuffling now. And there are some practitioners who you'll see it, right? Like I riffle shuffle like a card dealer, right? So I'm
Yeah.
doing that bridge thing. There are some that shuffle like this, where and then the cards fly out, and then those are the cards that they end up reading. Again, we're not gatekeeping here. You can pull your cards however you want to. It is all about your intuition. So generally, I will hear, I'm done. Stop shuffling. Stop. And then I have to go in and say to myself or to source, are you sure? And she's like, yes, stop. Why are you doubting yourself? You're not supposed to be doubting yourself. So that's what I heard was,
Okay.
we're done. Don't shuffle anymore. I'm like, okay, great. And it
Oh,
was
I love this.
much quicker than I kind of expected, frankly. Okay, so I've pulled 4 cards. We're going to do winter, spring, summer, and fall. I'm going to flip them over. You ready?
I'm ready.
This is for everybody.
Okay, everybody.
Ooh. Oh my goodness gracious.
Okay.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm not
All
going
right.
to lie to you. I'm thrilled. Let's
Okay.
be honest. 2025 was rough. We've had a lot going on. I won't go into it, but
Nope.
I want to desperately.
I
But
know. I told Sutton, I was like this. There's one thing we don't talk on this podcast about is politics, but
And I was like,
I think
what?
collectively we all agree it's been quite a year. Anyway,
it's been a year. So
it's been a year.
What we're getting is actually quite lovely. Like, actually, if I could say lovely, this is the loveliest. There's nothing inherently. Now, you got to remember that with tarot cards, and life, right? And that's a big statement, but that like positive and negative aren't a thing. We're not going to go into a tarot deck and be like, oh, these are the positive cards and these are the negative cards, because all experiences are part of how you shape yourself and your reality and all of these things. So I like to tend to say challenging or easy, right? Like there's challenging cards and there's, cards filled with ease and all of these things. These are all very nice cards, right?
Oh,
Which is a
love it.
lovely 2026 for us. So for winter, which would be from now until the end of this season, we do get the 2 of Wands. What does that mean? I'm going to tell you all. Don't you worry about it. The tarot is split into 4 suits, right? So we've got Wands, Cups, Pentacles, and Swords. And her brain's working.
You're good. You're good.
She's there. She's there. I'm like, which one's the last one? What did I not say? So wands are about energy. It's about inspiration. I like to say it's about your propulsion forward, right? Make it, do it, be it, change it, create it. It doesn't matter, but it's the energy we use to do those things. So for the winter period, which is actually kind of counterintuitive because we do want to be resting in winter. And maybe that's part of what your 2 of Wands is about, right? Because we're like the moon. Sometimes it's full, sometimes it's not, right? We're just like the seasons. The 2 of Wands is about being inspired to do something different, right? I like to say that the 2 of Wands is this idea where if you've got the ace, it's the spark of the creation, the energetic propulsion to do something different. And the 2 is when you're standing there going, okay, here's the deal. I can drive on the highway of life the same way, the way I've been doing it for 10 years, 15 years, 7 years, 7 months, whatever. And you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do something different, says the 2 of Wands. And I'm inspired to expand, right? I want to take up more space. I want to be bigger. I want it to be healthier, sexier, shinier, whatever, right? The 2 of Wands says, F yeah, we're going to do that. We're not driving on the highway the same way anymore. I love this for 2026. 2025, astrologically speaking, and even numerology speaking, was rough. It was not a completion year. This was not a year that we were supposed to like tie up our loose ends and be like, ta-da! 2026, however, does have that flavor. So, I always love when my pulls are supported by all the other knowledge that I'm receiving, whether it be astrologically speaking or numerology or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So 2026 takes a leaping point, right? It's like, we're going to do something different. Yeah. And
right
frankly,
on.
we're inspired to do something different. And so what I'd say to everybody who's listening is that like for the winter months, you're going to be percolating on the changes that you want to make, and anything that inspires you that feels different, go for it. Say yes, take the leap. Get on the rocket ship, right? Like go for the things that feel different and divert off of some of the paths that you've been driving on, because the inspiration came from you. This is you being inspired to do something different. Okay.
Wow, that's good. I need a sip of my coffee too.
I
I don't have a
know.
martini. That was good.
It was lovely. It's really, really lovely. And you know, you might be saying to yourself, what does that mean? In a way. And you got to be thinking about it in the big terms and the little terms. A Two of Wands moment is definitely a change of jobs, right? It's definitely, oh, I've always wanted to take that tap class or that stand-up comedy class. Yes, the Two of Wands says, F yeah, we're doing that, right? I'm changing my diet. I'm quitting drinking. I'm whatever it is. I'm going to write that script. I'm going to make that book. I'm going to make that art, right? Whatever it is, F yeah, we're doing that, says the Two of Wands. So through the winter months, we're thinking about being inspired by something. And we don't need to know exactly where it goes. That's not the point. We're just diverting off of a path that we've been driving on for potentially a long time, a short time, doesn't really matter. We take it into practice. That is for sure. I mean, I'm thrilled by this. I'm going to take a picture of this. I want to remember this. Like, this is important for me too. We go winter, spring. Spring, very apropos, is the 8 of Wands, right? We only have 2 suits in this reading out of 4, which is very interesting. We end with a major arcana card, which I will explain in just a minute. And we have no court cards, so we don't even have to deal with court cards in this little mini reading. So the 8 of Wands is swift movement forward. If you boil the card down, and again, it's a wand, so it's about your energy, it's about propulsion. The 8 of Wands for spring is swift movement forward. So everything that we were kind of, you know, some tarot card readers will call the 2 of Wands, which was our winter, about planning, like stages of planning of how we're going to divert off of paths. To me, because it's a wand, I don't think it's a lot about planning. I think it's about being inspired, right? I'm like inspired to do something. So F yeah, I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do something different. And then the 8 of Wands takes it on to this other place of being like, okay, let's go. Let's go, baby. Propulsion forward. Let's make it happen. Let's go for it. Let's just every single opportunity, idea, inspiration, let's go, right? And it is very appropriate for spring because this moment where we're coming out of the cocoon of winter and we're growing, right? All the buds come up, the sun comes back out, we're outside again. You know, unless you live in New Hampshire and spring starts in like June.
July.
Yeah, exactly. It does. We get a beautiful spring. But, you know, you're starting to see the growth of things, right? Things have gone from hibernation to growing. And now we're like in that 8 of Wands moment of being like, I'm taking the opportunity. I'm saying yes. I'm going for it. Yes, swift movement forward, right? Now, I just want to make sure everybody understands. Rest is important. If we are constantly in the 8 of Wands, we will burn ourselves out, right? The story that is told through each suit ends up, right? It's told ace through 10. And the 10 of Wands is not a place we want to be. It's complete and utter burnout. And there's these moments in the trajectory of just that one suit that tells us when we're supposed to slow down, when we're supposed to celebrate, when we're supposed to stop, pick it all back up and keep moving. But if you don't look at the rest of it, the 8 of Wands, or the rest of that suit, right? Which ends in burnout, the 8 of Wands is lovely. We're saying we're going for it. But I'm reminding people to rest, take care of yourself, drink your water. Like if, you know, you're not a commodity. You're a human being. You're supposed to take care of yourself. And like I said, with the seasons, like with the moon, with all of these ebbs and flows, we have to honor the rest as much as we honor the action. Now, is this saying this? No, it's saying action, action, action. Go for it, go for it, go for it. But I do like to remind people of that because we get really hard on ourselves, right?
Oh, yeah, we do.
I should be making all the time. I should be doing all the time. And it's like, that's not sustainable. And to like remind ourselves of that. But of course, spring is on fire. It's on fuego. It's like, we're going for it. We're doing it. We're making it happen. We're going to say yes. We're going for it. We're inspired. We're going. Summer is lovely. You guys, I'm delighted. And I hope that there are people who have their own cards. I hope there are people this resonates for because this is really profound to me. So summer becomes the 10 of Pentacles. Man, oh man, what are we going to say about this? There's so many things I want to say about this. Pentacles are an interesting suit. Remember, we've got 4. Pentacles are tangible, mundane things. What do I do for a living? Where do I live and who's in my environment? So we're talking about money and business, and we're talking about hearth and home. The 10 is the pinnacle of the story. It's the end of the story. We'll get to the meaning in a moment, but the 10 of Pentacles is, or Pentacles in general, is, I believe, the kind of keys to our fulfillment and happiness in this lifetime. What I choose to do for a living and who I live with and where I live seems sometimes these like not important decisions, choices. It's like, oh, I can do that for a little bit longer. I love that we're talking about work too right here, because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, sure, that's good enough. Oh yeah, I can sustain that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
okay.
I can keep
That's
going.
okay.
I'll keep doing
I'll
it.
keep going it. I
Yep.
don't love
Mm-hmm.
it, but I'll do it anyway,
Yeah,
right?
it's like, it's what I got now. At least
Yeah.
it's a job. Yep.
At least
Mhm.
I'm making money, right? All of those
Yep.
things. Pentacles are begging something different from my perspective. They're asking us to take these choices very seriously because they're the foundation of our lives, right? What I do for a living and how I make my money, who lives with me, where I live are the keys to my happiness, right? I don't want to be in a situation that makes me unhappy. I don't want to be in a job that is soul sucking. The amount of people I talk to who get onto a reading and they're like, I want to talk about my job, it's soul sucking. It breaks my heart. That's not fair. Life
Yeah.
is too short, right?
Mhm.
So we're looking at these tangible things, right? That sometimes don't seem that important, but are huge fundamental bases of our happiness in this lifetime. So the 10 of Pentacles is the end of that story. And if we can take the trajectory from winter to spring of like changing it first and foremost, diverting off of certain paths, being inspired, going for it, the 10 of Pentacles is lovely. The 10 of Pentacles becomes this moment where you take stock, you're looking around, you're like, look at what I built. I did this. I made this. This is my life. And frankly, the card to me is about magic in the mundane. Something that seems not that important, right? It's just how I make my money. It's just what I do during the day, right? Like, no, you should see magic in your life, right? And sometimes people are like, what are you talking about? You crazy. I'm saying that like your environment and where you live and who you live with and what you do for a living should be worthy enough to your system that when you wake up and there's a beautiful sunrise, you're like, my God, look at how beautiful that is. Look at how grateful I am for my heart to be beating right now, for me to be standing on this moving rock. I don't know how any of it works. Maybe some people do because they're scientists, but I'm standing here and I matter. My life matters. This moment matters. So the 10 of Pentacles, yes, it's about more money sometimes. Yes, it's about like your career coming to a great pinnacle, your home being beautiful. But to me, it's really about seeing magic in the mundane. That like that first butterfly that goes by me is magical. That the sound of my kids' laughter is something that fills me with something more than just being like, oh, that's cute. No, that makes me feel like there's magic around me, that the world is a magical place and that I'm participating in it and that I'm grateful to be here and that I'm happy that it's going the way that it has. And so we get this like, have to be active participants in this though. If in winter you're feeling all of these diversions that need to be happening, let's go for it, says the 8 of Wands. Let's do it so that we can get to the 10 of Pentacles, so that we can see that our life is magical, that our job actually suits us and aids us, that our home aids my happiness, right? Because again, some readers will say that Pentacles are about your health. And I'm like, it's not about your physical health. It is about your spiritual health, right? It is about what is good for you spiritually. So the 10 of Pentacles is lovely. It's just the pinnacle of this story of being like, wow, the choices I made matter. That
love
this
it.
matters, right?
Mm.
Okay. Fall's big.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to say before we continue? Because I feel like I've been just like doing a TED talk and running my mouth a little bit. Is there anything you want to say?
I actually am okay with how you're doing this, because the one thing I
Fantastic.
cannot stand when I'm listening to something as interesting as what you're talking about is like a second person coming in, interjecting their thoughts. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear myself because I'm going to have to edit this, right? I don't want
great.
to hear it.
Perfect.
So you keep going. The microphone's all yours. Stage all yours.
I love it. Okay, so winter, spring, summer, fall. October is the witch's new year. So we get the Gregorian calendar, which is, it's very interesting that this is running right after the Gregorian human new year, right? It's all made up. That's not real. Like January 1st is a ritual, and I love a tradition. I love a ritual, but it's based off of the Gregorian calendar, which came out in 1582. So someone created this, right? So when we're in the spiritual community or the witch community or the metaphysical community or whatever community we like to say we are, October 31st is our new year. That's when everything resets for us.
I did not know that. I just want to interject that. Wow, I did not know that.
Yes, right? Isn't that interesting? So,
okay.
and especially because, again, when we're looking at this idea of winter being a time of rest, it feels very strange to have January be this like, okay, everything has to start now. And you're like, I'm still, a bud under the snow. I'm not ready to start. Right? Even though our Two of Wands, like I said, is a little counterintuitive to that, but we're making some distinct choices to do some different stuff and being inspired by that. But like, that's why January feels weird. That's why there's all this pressure, right? What are your New Year's resolutions? And it's like, but I'm still in my rest phase. Like, this is not naturally what our bodies should be doing at this time. So I love that this is what comes up for October and our technical kind of witchy new year, the fall. Okay, the card is called the World. My goodness, guys, this is not simple. Okay, it is a major arcana card. In the deck I'm using today, which is the Way Home Tarot, which is a lovely tarot deck. You can get it on Everyday Magic. It's called the Universe, but it's the same. It's called the World, and it is the end of the major arcana. So very briefly, what I'll say is that major arcana is the big parts of the story. It's the organs of the story of our lives, right? It is the big sweeping themes, whereas minor arcana is kind of more day-to-day stuff that happens to us. So the Two of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles, those are all minor arcana cards. But then we end with a major arcana card, which is like the heart of the tarot, right? Those major arcana cards. And the World is the end of the major arcana. Where do I even begin? In this reading, what we're really saying is that we finally get it. We got to the end of the story. We learned, we enlightened, right? We leveled up. We're like, oh my goodness, through making different choices, through hustling and pushing myself, through being grateful, right? And realizing that I built this, we get to this place where we're like, aha, wow. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I'm okay with that. And yeah, no, it wasn't always easy, and it wasn't always sunshine and rainbows, and maybe a lot of it was, and that's wonderful too, but I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I've internalized life's lessons, and I am grateful for it, right? Because the card is about enlightenment, right? It's about learning who you are, how you fit into the world. It's about taking the hero's journey from the Fool, the beginning of the major arcana, to all the way to the end. And, there's these moments in life when we're like, yeah, I get it. Okay, I get it. Yeah, no, I learned. I get it. But when the World shows up in someone's reading, I'm like, oh no, you really get it now. You really learned it. You really enlightened yourself. And whether it be about your own baggage, whether it be about your job, whether it be about anything, and this is all about like doing something different, being inspired to do something different. You get it now. You really get it. And it's a funny card because it's this moment where you reach that pinnacle of an enlightened state, whether it be about yourself or your circumstances or both or whatever, and then you start back over again. Right? You start and you become the Fool again. We just start right back over. Mm-hmm. And yet you have all this wisdom that you didn't have before. You actually learned the lesson. You actually took the criticism. You actually went for the thing. You actually realized you were better off because in this reading, you were better off for making the changes that you made. And it's a funny card because it's a moment where you're supposed to sit in it. You're not supposed to immediately jump. You're not supposed to be like, okay, what's the next thing I do? The world is, you sit in that feeling, you sit in that understanding, because quite frankly, it's the end of a chapter, right? The
Oh,
chapter ends, and you're supposed to see it, have gratitude, understand it, live in it, and then you become the fool again, right? We don't just immediately jump into whatever this new thing, horizon, moment, whatever it is. You're supposed to sit and acknowledge, what have I learned? Who am I now? Because I'm a completely different person, says the world. I learned something about me and this and the world and all of these things. So it's probably one of the most complicated cards in the deck, because it takes on so many different layers. Um, and I know that another reader would be like, "Oh my God, you're leaving this part out. Oh my God, wait, what about that?" And it's like, yeah, we could talk about that one card for an hour. But it's the pinnacle of this story of enlightenment, of being like, wow, I get it now. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I'm okay with that, right? And I say that because it's not all nice all the time, right? So if I go through something extremely challenging and the world shows up, you're like, well, this isn't nice. And it's like, yeah, no, babe, it's not always nice all the time. But did you learn something? Because that's the thing, right? We're supposed to be changing. We're supposed to be growing. We're supposed to be enlightening ourselves. And it is very interesting, because it is all this trajectory of like how we make a sustainable life, how our tangible world, what we do, who we live with, what it looks like. If we live with no one, that's a choice too. We love it, right? Like how all of those things become a key to making our lives the best it possibly can be if we're afforded those choices. And that I get it now. Ah, I get it, says the world. Oh my God. I'm
oh my
obsessed.
gosh. Jeez. Wow. When I said I wanted you to do a reading for the year ahead, wow. I
I'm
feel like
obsessed.
I feel like I did a very good duty for the people who
Why,
are
thank
listening and
you.
watching.
Yes, I hope so. I mean,
Oh, wow.
it's wild. And to sell myself ever so briefly for a moment.
Which is my next question. Go on.
Wonderful. Well, I was going to say one of my most popular is the hour long, right? I sit with you and talk about your past, present, future, to talk about your life, and it takes an hour, and that's my most popular. But my second most popular is my year aheads, which, yes,
Yep.
which by the way are only available December, January, and February.
Got it.
And what's nice about that is that what you can tend to do is that, because you get a card for every month, you can look back at whatever that card is, either at the beginning or at the end or in the middle or whenever you want, and be like, what does this mean for May? Right? What did she say about this? Right? And so what I like about what we just did is that, like, if we do nothing else, if you don't sit down with me, if you have no relationship to tarot cards, it's like there's a very clear trajectory here for next year of like how we divert off of certain paths, how we push ourselves forward, how we take stock of what we created and made and are proud of, and recognize that like our tangible world matters, to then get to the end of it and be like, oh my God, I really get it. So that 2027 can become this thing of living in that instead
Oh.
of scrambling for it or trying to get
Oh.
it, right? Oh, that's my wish. So mote it be. That's my wish for everybody, is that we get to this place at the end of 2020, or in the fall of 2026.
That is, oh, wow. What a way to kick off this podcast year. Woo.
Hoopla.
Wow. So now if people want to reach you, contact you, and they say, you know what, I kind of would like a reading, because you do the the year long, which is what I've done.
Yes.
Which is phenomenal. But obviously you can't do it all year. It's like the cutoff is what, February, you said?
Yeah, because you're real. I mean, like, it'd
Yeah.
be weird to be in June and be like, "Hey, let's talk about the first 6 months of the year," right?
Yeah, did this happen? Yeah. But then you have a 6 month, and you also have a 3 month or a past, present, future, or like, how does
So
it?
I have hour longs, which are begin with past, present, future, mind, body, spirit. I use tarot and oracle with that one. I have half hour, which is the same setup: past, present, future, mind, body, spirit. It uses oracle and tarot, but that's a 30-minute session, so it's kind of a more condensed timeline, ideally. I do relationship spreads. I do a Halloween peek ahead. I do the year ahead. I'm like, what? I should look at my website. I don't know. I offer many, many different things. I do 3 card polls. This is the easiest way if you don't want to sit down with me.
I've
Like
done
if
that.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
if you're
three
too
card. Yeah.
nervous or
Yeah.
like you don't want to have a full reading, it's $25 and I just send you a video. I also sometimes do them based off of the moon phase, right? So I'll be like, full moon in Gemini. Let's do full moon 3 card polls, and you get a
Ooh.
little magic into your inbox, and I'll just record a video for you. Um, but the readings are either in person or via Zoom, one on one. And yeah, you can go to my website. It's suttoncrawford.com. You can visit me at Sutton Crawford on Instagram, and you can shoot me a DM. You'll see I have a little blue check mark. So if anybody's
Oh yeah, you're
pretending to be
legit.
me, yeah, if anybody's pretending to be me, that's not actually me. But and my email is suttoncrawfordtarot@gmail.com. And you just shoot me an email and say, hey, I want to set up a session. And if you don't know what you want, that's okay too. I have
Yeah.
people email me and be like, I'm not sure if I want this or I want that. And I'm like, well, let's talk about it. What do you need? What do you want? What do you want to talk about? All of those things.
And then when you say what people need, when we had our first, what I like to call discovery call, it was just chatting and catching up and letting you know, like, hey, I want you on my pod. You mentioned that a lot of people will reach out to you because of their job and career.
Yes.
Would you say that's like the number one reason people reach out to you?
Yes, I'd say so.
Not love, not relationships. It's like the career.
Love is a very close second.
Uh-huh.
A lot of, what I hear a lot is like, I feel stuck. People will be like, I feel stuck.
Yep.
Right. And
Mhm.
so that's I actually kind of love coming from that place, because it's like, well, let's get you unstuck. And if I know nothing else, I know that you feel stuck. Okay, where are we stuck? Are we stuck emotionally? Are we stuck financially? Are we stuck job-wise? Are we stuck where's the stuck feeling? And are you supposed to be stuck? Which is also an interesting thing. Sometimes you are. Actually, being stuck is not what you're trying to get away from, right? You are supposed to be stuck right now. So that's a whole other conversation that is very
Wow,
interesting. Yes.
Sutton dropping the bombs here.
I know,
or
but
the pixie dust or whatever
right?
you want to drop.
All the things, all the magic. It's job. Job is a huge, huge thing. Because again, I do think we're in this. I'm hoping we're in a bit of a renaissance, right? That's coming off of AI, frankly. That AI is now saying it can be creative, right? It's saying that it can write scripts. It's saying that it can create art. It's saying all these things. And it's frankly, what it's doing is it's taking the jobs we like to do and leaving us with the jobs we don't like to do. And it's like, I don't want AI to write my music. I don't want AI to do these things, because those are the things that make us human, right? Music and art and theater, that's what makes us human. Not, and there is no judgment. I love anybody who does their work. If you're bagging groceries, if you're working on an assembly line, if you're building cars, right? So valuable. But AI can do that stuff just as easily as it can create art, right? And so stop trying to take the jobs that bring us joy and leave us with the jobs that don't.
Yeah.
So I believe, I'm hoping, I'm praying, God is willing, so be it, so it is, that we are going to be in a renaissance of sorts, of everybody deciding that, like, I can create something, right? That I can be a part of the human experience that makes us human, of cave, right? We started with cave drawings, right? Like, we've been doing this forever. We've been singing and making music and art and beauty. That's what makes us human. And so I can't even remember where that started, but that I'm trying, when people come to talk to me about their jobs and their careers, I'm trying to get them as close to the thing that's going to bring them joy and make them fulfilled as humanly possible, within the confines of understanding that, like, I have to pay my taxes too, and I need healthcare, and I need money, and I get that. But how can we get you as close to the happiness that you can find doing this thing that seems mundane, right? Pentacles are mundane, but they're so important, right? And so when I talk to people about their careers, I'm like, let's get us as close to that as humanly possible. What's your skill set? What did you study? What is right? Like, what is all of the things, and what are the key components of what matters to you? Because a lot of people will come in and be like, I want to help people, right? I want to help people, or I want to be in a team. I want, right? There's these key components to what people really want in their jobs.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, let's find something as close to that as humanly possible within the skill sets that you have within the world, because I want everybody to be happy. I want as much joy as humanly possible. And when, we play around with this word of manifesting, right? Because it gets thrown around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It is like, how do I manifest a reality that serves me, and not only myself, but everybody around me as much as humanly possible, so that we are all in community, helping each other, being together, creating art, making cars, doing whatever you do, but that you love to do it, right? That's part of my goal.
I love that. And that's what attracted me to you. I mean, other than your witchy ways, but, it's always been the job. It's always been trying to figure out, like, you're put on this earth and you have to contribute some way, and the job is it. Right. So, you, like you said, got to pay the bills and that stuff. And then, there's that delicate dance you do between your job becoming your identity. And then if you have to shed that, which is kind of like what my transition is, going from TV news reporter, meteorologist, anchor to now, like, podcaster. Yes, I'm still out there, but my identity shifted a little bit.
Absolutely.
Or has it? I don't know.
No, I mean, well, and that's why, that's another thing that I talk about a lot with people, is that, like, your job is tied to your identity, but it's not your whole life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's not your whole life.
No.
And if your boss has told you it is, that's not fair, right? But this is the way it's been built for so long, is that, like, the only thing matters is that. And there's those people who I talk to where, it makes me think of, like, and it's usually the generation before them, right? Like their parents who had to work really hard to make a life for their children, whether it be because of their culture or where they came from or whatever it may be. And I'll say to somebody, I don't know, for example, I'll be like, oh, go on a vacation or something like that. Can you afford to, like, take a day off or do whatever, right? Not everybody can afford to go on vacation. But I'll talk to them about that, and they'll say, my father or my mother, right, worked their whole life and never took the vacation, right? They never kind of reaped the reward of all the really hard work that they did. And we're not doing that anymore, babe. Right? Like, I don't care if it means you can go to Barbados for a week. I don't care if it means you can get an Airbnb in the Hudson Valley for a day. I don't care if it means that you take a day off and you read a book and drink a nice cup of coffee.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. It's just that, like, you matter, right? Your job is not your whole identity. Your job, in fact, should reflect a part of your identity, and it should aid you spiritually, right? Like, it should make you feel good. It should make you feel powerful. It should make you feel like you're contributing something to humanity or society or to people around you or whatever it should be, right? And so it's not just about vacations. It's about, like, your job should feel like you want to go.
Oh, yeah.
If you can make it that way.
Yeah.
That's ideal.
Oh, I could talk to you forever. Our pod is almost like an hour and a half. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, well, the good thing is I'm not timed, so I could go as long as I want. But I feel like this is a very therapeutic pod, if anything, to, like, and I encourage, and I'm sure Sutton would say the same thing, as you're listening to this, maybe, and I might put this in the description, maybe during the pulling of the cards, sit in silence and in meditation, or do a yoga or something. You're probably going to be in your car, let's be honest with you. You know what I mean?
On the subway.
Yeah, or cursing at the person next to you, being like, shut up. Sutton's trying to tell me about spring. But, like, whatever the case may be, you can always listen to it again. But Yeah, just have an open heart and intention while listening. But I think yes, it's a long pod, but I'm here for it because I think there's so many gems that you have that you drop, Sutton.
Oh, thanks.
Wait, not so many gems, but so many crystals.
Ethically
and
sourced crystals.
Ethically sourced crystals. Goodness. All right. Any other final thoughts you want to leave the community of listeners and watchers?
You are powerful. You matter. You are magical. And anybody who says otherwise, they aren't there. They don't get it. And I hope to empower people. I hope to get people to want to live. That's what I would like.
Breathe it in, my friend. Well, that was fabulous, Sutton. I will not keep you any longer because
it was a pleasure.
This was so fun.
So fun. I have 2 readings after you.
Yeah, I know, because we had a timing. And I will tell you, I've had to pee probably for the last half hour.
I love having to pee. It gives a little something in your gut you got to take care of.
Yeah. But I've magically been able to kind of like silence it. It must be.
You're welcome. No, I'm just kidding.
Because of you and your magic. Must be the years of being in a live truck being like, I have to pee. Yeah. But we'll talk about that because I used to pee in a bucket. That's a whole nother. I am going to talk about that because I have the bucket and I'm going to talk, but we're not, that's different shift. Okay. Anyway, I'll leave you out with that. Okay. So we're done.
Pee in a bucket.
Yeah, right. Pee in a bucket. All right. Thank you again, Sutton, for your time, your expertise, your magic, your powerful words.
Thank you.
It was just so needed. And we are going to have one hell of a 2026. It's going to be killer. It's going to be awesome and magical.
Yes, we are. Happy New Year, everyone. And thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, son. I'll talk to you soon, son. All right. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Take what lands, leave what doesn't, and keep moving forward. Follow wherever you're listening, and if you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know.